Hey everyone, this is Ty and welcome back to the channel. You know, recently I completed my first 1,000 miles on my new 2023 Road Glide Special and wanted to provide a quick review, so stick around. Well, you know, when you say 1,000 miles, it does sound like a lot, but in the grand scheme of things, it's really not a lot at all. And man, it goes by so incredibly fast. And I've got over 1,000 miles on this motorcycle, and I thought, you know what, now is the time to give my 1,000 mile review of this Road Glide Special 120th anniversary edition. So wanted to talk to you guys about that. So let's see, when I picked up this motorcycle, I had, I don't know, maybe 8 miles on it or something like that. And then I planned this 1,700 mile road trip. So when I originally left the house, I only had 90 miles on this motorcycle, got back home and nearly had over 1,700 miles. So the bulk of the miles that I've done on this motorcycle have really been on that Florida trip down to Daytona, Pensacola. We went all over the place. It was a great trip. It really was. Okay, now that we've got that out of the way, let's talk about comfort of the motorcycle. Kind of give you guys my review as far as comfort. So this motorcycle, I mean, it is a Harley-Davidson bagger, right? It is a road sofa. They are very comfortable motorcycles for the long haul. So let's talk about the stock seat. Now, I don't want to change out the stock seat on this one. Normally on a motorcycle I would, but I don't want to because it matches the paint. You know, it's got that red, heirloom red leather type of color, and the texture on it. I just think it looks really snazzy, and I don't want to get rid of it. So I'm going to keep it. The only exception to that would be is if my wife decides that she wants to start riding and we're going to be doing some two-up riding, well then of course I'm going to put something on there that's a little more comfortable for her, and we'll approach things that way. But as long as I'm riding this motorcycle, I'm gonna keep the stock seat. I think it looks cool. It's not, I've had seats that are more comfortable. I've had seats that are less comfortable. So right now, stock is gonna work out just fine. Well, as you guys know, the stock handlebars on a Harley-Davidson motorcycle, usually those are some of the first things that have to go, right? And so really it's just going to be time will tell. Time will tell if I keep these, time will tell if I get rid of them. I don't know yet, but as soon as I know, you'll be the first to know. That, I promise you that. And let's talk about the suspension. So the motorcycle that I had before this, I had a Street Glide CVO, and I did a Legends Legends suspension, front and rear. And man, that thing rode around like a caddy. It was so comfortable. Now, I know there is a huge difference between an aftermarket suspension and the stock suspension, but you know, a little over 1,700 miles on this one. I think I'm just gonna leave it alone for right now. I don't feel uncomfortable with any bumps in the road or the suspension. The motorcycle handles just fine. So I'm going to leave it as is for now. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's good. Well, I think what I'm trying to say, it's tolerable. And if I'm going to make the investment in this motorcycle for upgrades and modifications, I'm probably going to do that elsewhere. So as for right now, I would say the stock suspension is sufficient. Yeah, let's go with that word. It is sufficient for right now. Okay, let's talk about the handling of the motorcycle. How does this motorcycle handle? How does it respond to the rider? Those type of things. Quite honestly, I might have to reiterate a few things I just said, but quite honestly, this motorcycle handles exactly the way that you would expect a Harley-Davidson bagger to respond. I mean, it's a comfortable ride. It's a smooth ride. The fairing does its job. This fairing is incredible going down the freeway. I mean, it blocks so much wind. I'm just so impressed by it. So, you know, no complaints there whatsoever. I would have to say also that the Milwaukee 8 114, you know, my previous motorcycle was a 117. and I can't really tell too terribly much of a difference, to be perfectly honest with you. Anytime I need any get up and go or passing power with the 114, it's perfectly adequate for what I need. I don't have any plans as far as engine modifications or upgrades on this bike. I think I'm just going to leave that 114 as is, because it provides plenty of power. So what about slow maneuvering? Well, yeah, this bike did just fine, really. I mean, other than just feeling the weight of the motorcycle, there's not a lot you can do about that. The motorcycle's heavy. It just is what it is. When you're going slow, you're gonna feel that weight. But really, the motorcycle is just balanced so well, you know, that you get any type of forward momentum, and the motorcycle is just going to kind of carry you along. So I don't have any complaints when it comes to the maneuverability, the comfort, all of those things on this motorcycle, you know, are exceeding my expectations. But in summary, here's my final thoughts. There is a lot to love about this motorcycle. If you're thinking about getting one, there is so much to love about this, and there is not a lot to complain about. I mean, really, there's just not a lot to complain about on this motorcycle. So if you were thinking about getting a Road Glide Special, anything with shark nose fairing, I'm going to tell you, just go for it. I have been so very pleased so far with this 1,000-mile review. So this motorcycle gets a A+ from me. Well, as always, I appreciate y'all's time so very much, and I hope you have an excellent day, and we'll talk to you again soon.